Can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, you can't hear me.
One sec. Doing what the key to success is with headphones. You have to
What?
have the right set on.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I had the wrong set of
Oh
headphones
man, you
on.
had me freaked out.
Freaked out.
Freaked out.
Aw, freak out.
Freak out. I'm a little whitewashed today. I feel like I don't think I can turn my lights down from here. So I wonder if I turn this one.
Aw, freak out.
That's right. Let me see if I turn this one off. If that makes me. There we go. I'm a little bit more shade human there.
You are human. So, with your bone crushing wrestling career,
Yeah.
so what did you used to do with the clients you used to go? Do you really want to negotiate this in the ring? Is that what you want?
Yeah.
We can,
Well, I'm one of those guys that I always say don't let the smile fool you. I can go teddy bear or I can go grizzly bear.
yeah, you know what? I got that feeling from you right from the get go. I was like, oh, don't
Yeah,
push him. Don't push him. You can tell if you've been in business a long time, you can there's certain people you can just tell. There's like, you're nice until you're not.
I like the fact that you don't have to do that very often. I did have my first troll on here today, Michael.
Did they? Did they say to you, listen, 90% of the people who are leaving HAPS today are because of you, Wes?
No, they said you. Um, in between telling me, over and over again, how
Uh,
are you? And yeah, I'm sure it was from Twitch. So I probably won't be going to Twitch just because I don't think that there's anything on Twitch that anybody wants to listen to me droll on about.
well, the thing is, you've got to get used to trolls. It's just part of it. It's the way it goes. Oh, you got pictures! Yay!
I do?
You do.
How do you know I do?
Because I can see them. You've got morning wake up call logo. You've got screenshot 2021 right here on the side.
Oh, yeah, but I don't have it in the I don't have it in the text or like in the post.
Okay.
Yeah, those are just things that I was kind of testing out to put on screen.
Right. But you use those already.
Yeah, I popped this one up.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. So you have pictures now. You
well,
didn't have that before.
yeah, I had it on there before.
What? Well, okay. So what is it you don't have that you want?
So when you go up to on Haps, when you go to do a into your feed,
Yeah.
there's a choice that you can click on that says pictures, text, video.
Yeah.
So when you click on that, you probably can't see it right now, but if you open a new one up, let me open up a new instance of Haps over here. I'll tell you what mine says. So when I go over to Haps and I go to feed and I click on create post,
Yeah.
if I click on image, it says we're sorry. Due to a large influx of spam onto Haps, we've reserved posting capabilities to a certain set of established users to keep our community safe.
Really?
Same with videos, same with text, same with everything. So I
Are
can't.
you willing? Are you willing to try an experiment here for a second?
Sure.
Okay, so go into where you connected, where you invited me. You should say on your thing there, invited user. It should be a little box. Click, and then just give me director controls for a second. See if it will let me post a picture. Like this is weird.
So, post a picture where though?
Like your picture came up in the broadcast. What is it that you're not being able to post?
Okay, so you don't understand what I'm saying.
No, I don't.
I can upload. So right now, open a separate. Can you open a separate instance of Haps?
Can I?
Yeah.
Like another? I never do that. I never have two apps going at the same time. Is that what you mean?
Well, let me show you what I'm talking about. So let
Let me
me.
show. Let me show. Okay,
Yeah.
you're not gonna throw me on the mat in frustration.
No, I'm not going to show.
No.
No, let me show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put
Right.
you in a picture-in-picture,
Okay.
and I'm going to go to let me go over to this and do a screen share. So let me go to this, and hopefully it works because it wasn't working earlier because of the fact that, okay, so I think this will work.
Right.
Okay, so you're seeing my screen.
I am.
If
I
I
am.
go, if I go to right here to create post,
Yeah.
okay, so you see you can go to upcoming where you create a post, okay?
Yes. Okay.
But if I click up here to image,
Yeah.
see how it says we're sorry?
Yeah.
So there are people in uh, um, apps that could
Yeah.
probably go through and in their feed, instead of seeing just a video here,
Yeah.
they would be able to see a picture or
Oh, yeah. I've never done that. Okay. Okay, but
as a matter of
you
fact,
can you can play music. You can do images. Okay, I thought they weren't letting you load images or anything.
no, no, no.
But
I can do that. What
yeah,
I'm talking about is like see this right here.
yeah,
It's spot on to where I am right now. And
yeah.
it's got this image.
That's what
I
you
would like
want.
to, yeah, and I'm assuming, and
Hmm.
I might be assuming wrong,
Yeah,
but if you have your channel uh, chosen, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it wouldn't go out to those places. Wes, I think there's a time frame you have to wait unless you're granted. Ted, I think you are exactly right because it's certainly not something that's available to me yet. So I'm going to go back to my face here and go off of picture in picture. But the yeah,
Ted, are
so
you at work?
who?
It's Ted Hicks.
Oh, I don't know.
Are you at work right now? Could you come up for a second? Have you ever had Ted up? Ted's amazing. One of my favorite people in Haps. Are you okay with that? I should ask first before I hijack your.
You're like, come on in, Ted.
Come on in. Come on in, Ted. Come
Come
on in.
on down.
Bring
You're the
bring
next
the
contestant on Chat with
bring
Wes.
bring with co-host Mike. Bring the go-go girls. All right, here we go. Woohoo!
He's
So
invited. I'm just
yeah,
waiting on him to come in. Um, yeah, absolutely, Ted. I don't see you in the green room yet, though.
yeah. You have to give him you gave him an invite. You know how to do that now, so you're good. You're on top of it. You're a smart guy. I don't worry about you. You could show me many a thing. I could tell. So what is the benefit of having a camera on your roof? Is it like having mirrors on your ceiling? Like I'm a little confused. Or is it
Uh,
gives?
the camera on my roof is this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Hello.
it's up above.
So how much of an investment do you think you have there now?
Oh boy, um,
Hi Ted.
that is a good question.
It is, isn't it? Because you did it in pieces, probably, right?
Yeah. Well, the Roadcaster is uh, what, $500 maybe?
Ted is in the house.
Hey, Ted, how you doing?
Hey Wes, how you doing?
I'm doing
Welcome to
well.
Haps, Wes. 2 weeks in.
I am 2 weeks in exactly.
All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah. So the camera now, just so you know, the lens that I'm holding here in my hand is a Sigma lens. The
Yeah.
lens costs more than the camera, but the Canon camera and the lens are about 500 and 700 ish. The Stream Deck is about 150. The iPad is about 1,000. Couple monitors, maybe 150 each. 3 webcams, which are probably about 50 each. The
Hey
lights
Edie.
are probably 150, 200. The
Yeah.
mics are probably 300. Yeah, so the Mac Mini is about 900.
Yeah.
So
That is such a wonderful machine.
yeah, I would say
Wes, I have
three
to
four
stop you.
thousand. What was that?
I said, Wes, I have to stop you. I have a Mac Mini. I love it.
Yeah, aren't they nice?
They are really, really nice.
Do you have the M1 chip, Ted?
I do not. I have one from 2011 and I have one from 2018.
Okay. Mine
So,
is the M1, and
oh,
I don't
Oh,
have
it's mind
one.
blowing. It's
Yeah,
mind blowing.
I don't have one from the past to be able to give you a opinion, but I just got rid of an iMac that was decked out 27-inch, and this one blows it away.
Yeah,
You know,
speed wise, it would.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
so are you of are you the type of person you load a lot of applications on there, or you kind of keep it light and just use just whatever video production quality apps on there?
I do have quite a few apps on here, but I do web programming and podcast work and stuff. And guys, I have to apologize. I am wringing wet. I come straight on here. I started to 75 hard
Mhm.
today, and man, they call that 75 hard for a reason.
So it's good to sweat and makes your employer think you're working hard. That's good.
Yes.
I do want to address something though, and this is my business hat. I don't put it on very often. It's more usually the guru weirdo man, but I think it's important to have a good setup if you're in business. You have to have good sound. That's probably number one.
Yes.
A half decent camera, and that shouldn't cost you too much. Go ahead.
And amazing lighting.
Are you talking like inside? Are you talking your inner spirit, or are you talking?
No.
Okay.
This is not
Okay. Oh, okay.
Michael's evening show.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking
Sorry.
about the physical lighting in your room.
Yes, it means a lot.
Yeah.
It does. But don't discount the benefits of being an enlightened being like Ted. Listen,
What?
I get more people screaming at me for considering I'm a spiritual person. I don't know. It's okay.
Wes, there's not a better person on Haps than Michael Bathurst. I'm telling you.
See, I've been hearing different stories than that.
Really?
Oh yeah, tell him the comment. Tell him the comment that you were reading. Like he barely knows me, and they're going. Everyone's leaving because of Michael Bathurst. 80% of the people who've left is because of Michael Bathurst.
Really?
Oh
It
yeah,
was the best. Michael
Yeah.
was saying the nicest stuff to this lady.
yes,
I mean, he was just giving kudos upon kudos, and she's like, "You know damn well you're a filthy liar, Michael, and your
Really?
heart is dark at
Filthy,
night."
filthy liar.
Yeah,
Yes.
just horrible stuff. And I was just sitting back, just laughing.
Yeah.
Dee Dee, how you doing?
Dee Dee, have you followed these gentlemen yet? I would love for
Hello,
you.
Helga.
Hi,
My
Helga.
Helga. My Helga. That's what I think that's the new name. You know how Prince became a symbol? She's now my Helga.
But she
Really?
recognized my Helga too.
Well,
Micah.
listen, Ted got me in a lot of trouble a few weeks back.
He did.
He did
Stop.
because he had superior knowledge in something, and he decided to tell people. Now, I think the best comment you have ever said. I must have been mistaken. I've only been doing this for 30 years. Buddy, it's the Wild West on here. You got to have fun, and you can't take any of it too seriously.
No, you can't.
Ted, I
But,
could listen to you laugh all day, my friend.
Oh my goodness, Wes. You just stay close to this guy. You're gonna laugh a lot. I mean, you might take some arrows too, but nah. I mean, he's a good egg. He's a good egg. He tries to do the right thing. He tries to get people involved. Along the way, you might scrape a knee or an elbow, but you
Yeah.
know what do? You get back up.
yeah, if you get knocked down, you get up again. You're
Yes.
never going to keep me down.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we got something. It's a
That
lovely drink.
sounds
It's a
like a
cider
song
drink.
that would work. Michael gets knocked down, but he gets up again, and you're never going to keep him down.
Yeah.
I think somebody may have done that before.
It sounds catchy though. I like it. I think you're onto something.
Mike, I want to let you know I saw Hans's
Broadcast.
broadcast, but we have to name it something other than a broadcast because it's, I love the fact that like the various business analysts come on, share their best practices,
Yeah.
share the do's and don'ts, and kind of get out of there. And I tell you, the one thing that really bothers me, and is the fact that Haps, and maybe I'll reach out to Peter. They need to
Yeah.
put a light on people like Hans.
Yes. Agreed.
His show, it's a
Yeah.
really Wes. It's a solid show, and I'm sure what you're going to bring also is going to be solid because of your presentation and the fact that you've invested in the equipment that's around
Yeah.
you. So I'm sure you're also going to have top quality content that you're going to be providing.
I think they'd be dynamite together. Him and Hans. I've said that before. So
Yep.
we got to make it happen.
Yep.
Even if we do some light business show some Sunday, get the four of us.
But wait. I thought you couldn't say those words.
I can say business show.
Sunday business show. Remember when we all first came on here?
No, you're correct. You're correct. I just can't have my coworkers coming in and talking about our work.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, and they can't come in like they're near a water cooler.
Right.
You know, the water cooler chat,
Yeah.
which you're seeing a lot of now on LinkedIn. There's a lot of banter and people talking. I love it.
A lot of inside baseball stuff.
No, but I love it because they'll come on and talk about Apple, and they're talking about the pressures that employers have now to keep talent.
Yes.
And they're laughing about it, saying people are leaving, at a record rate. Certain companies only have 30% of their staff because they weren't paying what they were paying.
Right. What they're paying in the field.
Yeah.
And what the market rate is. And you're sitting here holding, and I just want to, disclose that I've turned off all my sharing features.
Yes.
So just in case if I have any of my employers watching.
Yes.
But it's so true because they're thinking about retention after all of this. So now you're 16 months in, things are things have begun to open back up, and now the field is going to get a little competitive.
Well, here's the thing. You can live in Toronto, you can live in England, you can live in Ireland, and you can work for a company out of Boston if you're an advisor.
Yes.
That was never, so we within the umbrella that I know, there's 3 companies that I deal with that I help on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And one's a small company, and they're having really rough time keeping good quality,
right?
Because they can't afford to pay them.
Right. Then the fact with
what do you think, Wes? Wes is
Wes,
very quiet.
Jump into this
Are
conversation.
you linked to your employer right now and going, shut up?
Stop.
Shut up.
Now, when you say employer, are you talking about people I do consulting for?
I will power drive you right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I just had the feeling that I was like, yeah, you know what? If I want to spill a little bit of tea, I don't want to share it on my channels.
Well, what I did the other day, I went in the cheap seats in LinkedIn, and I started asking.
Cheap seats.
Huh?
They're not cheap seats.
Okay. Mediocre seats. I don't know what you call them. So
nosebleed seats.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I felt lightheaded, but I was able to ask some questions, and one of them was the first one I asked, which was kind of woo. I said, "What are you currently grateful for?" And they chewed on that for 10 minutes, all of them. And what's happening is this is becoming a platform where people can get to know your personality, and if they like you, they want to work with you.
Yeah.
When you do a cold call or you're doing email, it's not the same. The other thing too is if you come off as a complete ass and you make 80% of the people on Haps leave, that may not be good for you.
Hang on one second. I got to grab this call.
Yes. It's this employer. All right. Bye.
When you said people that are on your employers, are you talking about people I do consulting for, Michael? Is that what you meant?
Sure. Well, like for me, I don't know if you know this, but I help people on Twitter. I have 3 people right now that I'm currently helping,
I didn't know that.
and well, technically there's four. There's four. There's four technically, and one of the people that I've only been helping for about 3 weeks said I'm losing all my talent. They're one of my key pieces is now working for a company out of Boston, and I can't compete with American dollars. I just don't make it.
Sorry about that,
So
guys.
it's
No
okay.
worries.
So when Bill Clinton calls you, or when you have Jimmy Carter, or if you have if Ronald Reagan from the other side says to you, "Hey man, you're doing okay." Yeah, what do you say? There it goes. Look at
I'm like, what?
I'm just messing with you. So no, what we were talking about while you were on there was it's getting super competitive
Hi,
Yeah.
Helen.
for talent, but it always was.
Hey, Helen.
It always was. But if you had
It
someone
always,
who had to live in Toronto, or
right,
had to live in Vancouver, or had to live in Chicago, or had to live in Australia because of their family and they wanted to stay married, it limited their
yes,
choices.
yes,
The other thing that's happened, which is wild, is you've got companies now that are like, yeah, we really don't need an office.
right. We don't want to pay for the overhead, the
Yeah,
operating cost.
I think something else that you're seeing as well as keeping people home is they're finding out that Wes, Michael, and Ted are no longer needed. We can have Steve, do it while they were laid off. And by the way, Steve's not going to say anything because he wants to not be Wes, Ted, and Michael. So they've consolidated jobs and then dared people to say anything about it because they're still working. And that's been going on even before the pandemic.
yeah. And there's one thing we haven't mentioned
Hi,
though
Space Gal.
is I'm seeing now people working longer hours than they've ever worked.
Yes,
I'm seeing people who are beyond exhausted working till Sunday. So someone explained it to me best. There was a young kid who is one of the top salesmen at this one company that does installations, and um, he had said to me, um, "I don't know what the grade is now. I don't know what the bar is. When we had an office, I could see what everybody else was doing, and I won't use the term he was saying." But he said, if I saw nobody doing anything, I'd go have another lunch. But now it's like, I don't know where the bar is. I don't know what I have to do to keep my job. I don't know what everyone else is doing. So I'm assuming through paranoia and fear, I just have to keep working, put my nose down, go, go, go. We're also having now companies realizing that this is not healthy, this 2-dimensional life.
no,
This is not. So I think perfect balance um, is half the week come in, half the week work from home if it's suitable to what you do. If you drive an elevator like I do, it's very difficult to do that job from home.
right.
I tried to will it with my mind a couple times, but I found it very exhausting to move the elevator.
So can we talk about? I mean, that the fact that there is no work-life balance anymore. There is no, those lines are blurred now. The fact that instead of the commuting time that you used to commute, so let's say I commuted from Long Island to downtown Manhattan, and you would say roughly that's like 2 hours.
Yeah,
That's 2 hours now that you're spending working.
yeah, oh yeah, and they're getting productivity like nobody's business,
Totally.
and they're not
Totally.
they're not paying for all the conveniences. Let's say that you supply lunch and dinner. at your
Yes.
work,
Yes.
right? Let's say that you supply parking. Let's
The
say that
car
you,
service. The car
right,
service home.
yeah, all those things that certain companies have. Just printing,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So here's the direction I think we're going to see, and it's only because I talk to so many people. You have a camp that never ever want to go back to work. They love being at home with the wife and the kids. They're having better work balance than they've ever had in their entire life. They're ecstatic at how wonderful their life is, and they're terrified to go back. There was a little cartoon I saw today, and it was a book. This guy was reading how to go back to work in the real life again. And he had to read a book to realize, because people are panic stricken because it's going to be a shift. What do you think, Wes?
Well, I think a couple things are going to suffer insanely. One being children, because they've
Mm-hmm.
had their parents home, almost, around the clock. The other thing is going to be pets. There's going to be a lot of separation anxiety from them and kids. But I think people have become almost like feral cats, where they've had their roam of doing whatever the heck they wanted to do and get the stuff done at leisure, just as long as it got done. And so now when they're house cats again, and they're on a clock, and you got eyeballs on you, and you can't get coffee when you want and all that kind of stuff again. I think it's gonna be hard for some people to get back to normal.
It's going to be hard for people or for employers to get back to normal.
I think both. I mean, honestly, I think they both have had the kind of autonomy, that has allowed them to kind of do whatever they want. And I mean, like, let's say you're a supervisor, you probably haven't had anybody in your office, asking you questions, and trying to put out little fires here and there. You've probably actually got to put your nose down and actually do your work more than ever. So now that you got people back, there's people popping in all the time. I mean, you're probably feeling like every time you start something, it's getting interrupted. So I mean, that's one thing. I mean, but and the other thing is that there was probably a lot of more tasks piled onto you, like I said before, where they're like, hey, I know you're a supervisor, but now you're doing this as well, and now you got people coming back in, and now that extra work is really crazy because you have a bunch of people bugging you and popping in and doing that stuff all over again.
The one thing we haven't discussed is very few companies have thrived through this. Like, some are doing phenomenally well. It's almost like they place themselves well.
Oh, I misunderstood your statement. Yes, very few companies have thrived.
Yeah.
Very few.
I'm very fortunate that my main employer has, sales have gone through the roof. Things are great. So those who position themselves well, I think did great. But here's the thing: this is uncharted territory, all of it. Is that someone writing you cryptic notes right now? Who's getting
someone sending a print job somewhere?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's my wife. Yeah, she's probably getting ready to come down and get a printout.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Is that loud? I saw.
No,
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Haps.
But
Haps. It's
if I can just jump in and Mike, if we could just put in the parking lot what you just said, it's like sharing your resources. Like my wife and I, we were sharing office space, and it was just like mind numbing to me. So it was to the point where she had to work upstairs and I had to work downstairs. But let's say for the people that don't have that availability, and you are in like tight working quarters, that's something else that I'm surely that impacted people.
None of us have brought up the one thing, which is really sad.
Right.
Countless marriages didn't make it.
Well, the divorce rate was already at 50%.
Well, it's gone. It's spiked, and what it is someone had said to me. He said, I had enough time away from her to be okay. But when it was 24/7, and then when her mom moved in, I was done. And when I couldn't, get my work done because there was no bandwidth, or I was being too loud or she was being too loud, we just we were never prepared to be together 24/7.
I think that's BS.
Well, maybe in your situation because you're the beast mode love machine, but
No, but I'm saying, obviously, there were other issues that were stemming around their relationship.
I agree.
absolutely,
You
absolutely,
know,
yeah, yeah,
so to
yeah.
apply it and say, "Oh, we got divorced because of COVID," that's a cop out. And Helen, stop laughing. Um, there's a couple of comments here. There's a person named Mimi Kimes was asking about the lockout and questioning whether or not America is open. I'm like, yeah, it is.
Canada is in stage one, which means that we're still wearing masks. We're limiting the amount of people who are able to get in restaurants. We're doing outside dining, which is hilarious because, where I live, which is Yonge Street, you have these really posh restaurants, right? And they're outside eating these beautiful meals, and you have homeless people walking around the perimeter. Like it's got to be affecting their ambience, But it's different, and I feel for all those people who own restaurants because
Yeah.
they have been open, shut, shut, open, open, shut, shut. It's just and they
So
some of them spend thousands of dollars refitting their their restaurants to be told to be
right,
shut down again.
right, right. So, and America is one thing. Was there like a CARES like act in Canada? Like, what did your government do for those small business owners that were like, restaurant owners and eateries and stuff like that?
Not enough. And here's the thing. If anybody's ever been involved in a family owned restaurant, you are usually warm, dry fed, not much more than that.
Okay.
And they couldn't afford not work on the weekends or be shut down for a month. There were businesses that had been open for 30 years that shut down because they couldn't do it because they restaurants work on very small profit margins and they don't have tons of bankroll. They And what's happening now is you're seeing the big conglomerates eating up more and more of the pie. What do you think, Wes?
I think it's definitely true in the sense of the little guys getting edged out, because it's really, really tough if you're already scraping around and then they put your availability to, 20 and 30%. Even Disney World and Walt Disney World right now, I think are still at 30. And I really don't know how you run $1 billion company at 30% occupancy. I really don't.
You
I
can't.
mean,
You can't.
so most people don't have the pockets that Disney have. So the deep pockets, I should say. So if you're a little mom and pop restaurant, the profit margin at a restaurant is so absolutely minimal to begin with, and you're the last person to get paid. In addition to that, I really truly, other than these loans and the different emergency things that they put place, I really don't see how a lot of them are staying open. I really don't. And then to answer your question, what it does is it opens up that real estate to the big places to kind of swoop in. And the three of us, I think, are of age that you remember walking the mall as a kid. Think about the things that were there that are gone the way of the dodo. Bookstores, travel agencies. I remember we used to go to AAA when I was a kid and get a triptych. Before we go on a vacation, they would actually mark it off on a map. all these different things that are no longer brick and mortar because
Yeah.
things interruptions in things like Uber and um, what was the what's the bed and breakfast what's that called when you stay at someone else's place,
Airbnb.
Airbnb type
There you
places
go.
and that kind of stuff.
For 10 points. Okay. Is there another question? Sounds like 3 syllables.
Yeah.
Walks on one leg.
Yeah,
No,
record
okay.
stores. Helen's right about that. I mean,
Oh, I
Yeah.
love those. Yeah.
I mean, I used to go in for hours and look at of course I hate to say this, but cassettes and 45s and all that kind of stuff when I was a kid, and I mean all that stuff has
8
gone.
tracks, man. 8
Yeah,
tracks.
I never looked at 8 tracks. I had them. I actually had a couple, but
Oh my God.
I mean, if you really think, I mean, for us
Quadraphonic sound. Do you remember that? Quadraphonic sound.
in this area, believe it or not, even video stores, Family Video has taken a dive and going to Blockbuster when I was a kid
Yeah,
and
they were
hoping
yeah.
that video was behind the box,
Yeah.
was something big and it's just there's a lot of things that are going the way of the dodo, and it wasn't even because of COVID. So
Can I ask a question being Canadian?
yeah,
What is a dodo?
it's a bird that's extinct now.
Okay.
Dodo bird.
Okay. And you know what a doge is?
Is that a currency?
You got it, brother. Okay.
Yeah.
Coin.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
It's some coin.
Do you know someone named Sheba?
I know
Yes,
of her.
you do.
She lost some value today.
She lost a whole lot of value today.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of people are not too happy about that. Can we address one more thing before we go, and you guys can chew on it. I'd love you
But
guys
just hold on 1 second. Helen said, remember when you used to have to have a VHS or DVD if you wanted to watch a film?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes, and that was the status symbol. Now it's
Yeah.
pets.
And I just want to say this one last thing.
Of course.
My buddy good buddy Jay Stewart. We've been friends maybe 44 years, and we used to be so envious because we would always go over to his house, and he had the VHS that opened from the top.
Yes.
I had that.
Yes.
Yeah,
look
he had
inside.
that. He was like the first one on the block that had one of those, and I was like,
they were $500 to $700 back in the day, and that was this would have been 80s, and in the 80s you could buy in Canada a beautiful home for $30,000.
Yes.
So it goes to show you the money where people were paying. Now, look at the amount of technology that's in this free app that we're on right now. See how they're shamelessly plugging apps there.
Shamelessly plugging. Go ahead.
Yes.
Well, what's really crazy about it is watching Pump Up the Volume, Christian Slater movie. He's got this pirate radio station, and as a kid, you're thinking, man, there'd be just nothing better than to be able to go out on the airwaves and fight the power and whatnot. Now these days, you'll get cancel cultured if you say the wrong thing on those airwaves if they're not yours. But I mean, look. We were talking about the layout. I mean, I've got literally.
That's sweet.
I've got radio, television, print, everything all right here. I mean, wow. I've got everything that I dreamed of as a kid, right in front of me. And but the thing that's the craziest.
Michael's envious of that setup.
Well, don't be envious, brother.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could have it as well. I mean, I told Michael the other day, I'm a several year overnight success. I mean, this stuff didn't happen overnight. But with that said, what's really crazy is a buddy of mine the other day went and watched Back to the Future all by himself in a movie theater, AMC movie theater. And guess how much it was?
How much?
$100.
He rented you. You can rent the movie theater, right?
Yeah, $100. Now,
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I can remember Batman being shown on 4 different screens at once.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And literally there were lines out to the street for all
Yes.
4 movie theaters, and now you can rent a movie theater for $100 by yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, and oh, by the way, that you can have 10 friends with you for that.
Yeah. At
You
first
know?
thing I was thinking was, Tony D would be there, James would be there. We that wouldn't be watching the movie, they'd be screaming at the screen, doing shots. We'd be kicked out within 20 minutes.
But it's just amazing that the hit on the chin that these places are taking, because the fact that you can rent a movie theater in advance
Yep.
lets you know that they know nobody's going to be there, or else
Space
they
Gal
wouldn't rent
says.
it
Space Gal says, and you used to be able to play video games inside there too.
to you. Yeah, you could.
I just remember I was just with my father earlier today, and I just remember us waiting on line for Empire Strikes Back, and the line was as long as you can imagine at the movie theater, and it was like you said, it was playing on like maybe 2 screens, and we were like, "This is ridiculous." But I mean, we waited online for
Yeah.
hours and hours, and I don't
Do
know.
you know what's doing well, guys? That's part of the past now?
What?
Drive-ins.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we have them
Yes.
around us.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's safe.
It's safe.
It's safe.
A lot of comedians, Dave Chappelle here in Ohio,
Yeah.
he has turned not Youngstown, Yellow Springs into his own little comedy mecca, and he brings people in, and they basically come in a field. It was cars there for a hot minute, but and he brings in people from all over the country, and you really never know who's going to be there, and has absolutely taken over, with that outdoor stuff. So yeah, and by the way, arcades. Masha Dwyer just said arcades are distant memory too. You'll see every now and again a couple, but any arcade you go into now, it's a joke. I can remember when literally, you had to throw your quarters up on the screen and wait
Right.
in line,
Right.
just to get on.
Well,
You weren't walking up and playing.
Yeah, but you have Twitch now, right? So one of the restaurants, unfortunately, I think that is no longer with us. What they did was they had all the old video games. You would come in and eat your dinner, and you could also play video games with your kids. That was part of the charm. So you could burn an hour with the kids, have some
Right.
dinner. It was kind of Chuck E. Cheese without all the balls and jumping
We
around.
we kind of have something like that for adults called Dave and Buster's that has that
Yes.
kind of stuff. But
Yes. Dave and
yeah,
Buster's.
but I will say that I think they've got to be limping as well. It's funny because there's 2 things. Dave and Buster's is a great example, but in the big malls, the ones that are what they call designer malls,
Yeah.
they're usually outdoors and they got
Like the
fountains.
strip malls. Like the
Yeah,
strip
they're
malls.
strip, but they're upscale.
Yes.
They've always got 2 things that just absolutely blow my mind. One is a Cheesecake Factory, and
Yes.
2 is a Barnes and Noble. And they're
Mhm.
both, the Barnes and Nobles that are next to them are always 2, 3 stories. And
They're
I just always
tremendous.
wonder myself how they're doing it.
So, guys, I'm going to bounce, but
Okay.
thank you. It was wonderful. I'm going to leave you one more question before I go, though. Do you think it's going to continue where people have moved from the big cities to cheaper, areas in the States and Canada where the housing is a third? Or is that going to stop now that people are going back to work?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not the guy to ask, guys, because even when I lived in a big city, it was Columbus, Ohio, and that's really not a gigantic city. But I have 3,500 people in my town. It's a village. It's not in a town. So everything around here is what you said. So
That's wonderful. That's fun.
yeah.
And Ted, you live in where? New York, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
and I live in Toronto, and I've noticed a lot of the buildings that never used to have vacancies all have vacancies now.
oh, there's vacancies everywhere.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
vacancies everywhere, and
So, just being the beacon of hope I am, I thought I'd leave that out there for you. So, if anybody would like to, visit me in the mornings, I'm usually on between 6:30 and 8. Unless I have an all night marathon with Ted, then you don't. But you'll see some form of a broadcast when you wake up in the morning. I won't leave you with nothing. Thank you so much, Wes. And please, anybody who is part of the HAPS community watches this on the replay, please sponsor both of these gentlemen. And please, if you can, spare as much coin. Throw it at them. Or,
just not Doge.
well, I'll take the Doge. I'll take the Sheeb. I'll take it all. I'm not proud. Bye.
Hey Wes, before I cut out, make sure you put